Hello, I don't actually have that much to update you on this week. So I didn't do a video last week, and you may have thought that's because I was being wildly productive. It wasn't. So I went away for a week. I went up to Warburton, which was stunning. Rainforest and river and takeaway coffees by the river every day. And just wandering around in the rainforest and going up to the redwoods and all the rest of it. Absolutely stunning. Had a wonderful time. Came back and I did intend to do a video last week, because I did do a little tiny bit of weaving in Warburton. So I was going to do a video last week, but I did not have my shit together. So we're going to do it now, and we're going to catch up and get back into the swing of things. I have this little tiny paper bag, which has got things in it. So this was on the loom the last time I spoke to you. It was on the little loom. I'm going to hang that up because it won't fit on my hand. Don't fall off the tripod, which is good advice for all of us, I feel. So this came off the loom about 20 minutes ago. So it's not wet finished. I haven't trimmed the fringes, let alone twisted them. I have cut it off, put it in a bag and brought it out to show you. So this was on the loom for a little bit longer than it needed to be, but I just was doing other stuff. This is the green one. Can you tell if I say that it's the green one? This is the green one. So these yarns are going to behave a little bit differently in the wet finish, but I don't know to what degree. I would have found that out had I done any kind of sampling, but I don't do that. I just like to see what happens. So the length is pretty much the same all along. The visual interest comes from this colour changing variegated yarn. It's not colour changing because that would imply that it changes colours in heat or temperature or whatever. Heat is temperature. Did I say we're getting back into the swing? I may have overpromised. The variegated yarn, which has shifting colours down the length of the scarf, is what I would say if I knew what I was talking about. So they're all going to behave a bit differently. Because they're different brands of yarn. They're all merino, but they're all slightly different merinos. So we'll see what happens when I get the fringes twisted, get that in shot even, get them trimmed and twisted, then I'll give it a bath and we'll see what happens. Now, weaving in Warburton. Now, before I talk about weaving in Warburton, because I did do some, I also said last time I was going to take my cross stitch up, and I didn't do that because on the back of my bedroom door, I have one of those coat hook things, you know, like a row of hooks, and covered. That is absolutely covered in project bags, all sorts of things, bits of patchwork, bits of crochet, cross stitch, all sorts of things that can fit into a bag and be hung up, absolutely covered. And I've been looking at one of those bags for a while going, that's the poppy cross stitch, and I will grab that and take it with me when I go away. Grabbed it to take it with me. It was not the poppy cross stitch, it was a completely different project. So I looked everywhere that I thought there might possibly be a cross-stitch project that I had stashed. I don't know if you can hear, but the chickens have just arrived. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked in all my stash places, could not find it. So I thought, okay, I won't take it. That's fine. When I got back, I walked into my bedroom and on the floor was a bag, and I thought, wonder what's in that. It is, of course, the poppy cross-stitch. So it must have fallen off while I was looking for it in the other. I don't know what happened, but at least I found it, and there is still time this year to finish it. But I did do some weaving on the triangle loom, not a huge amount, because as it turns out, excuses. So I wear two different glasses prescriptions. I've got these, which are my looking at things a long way away glasses, and then I have my readers or my up close glasses. And what I don't generally do is watch television while I craft because it's too far away. So I'll have my tablet, so I'll watch something on my tablet so I can just wear my reader glasses. This is my excuses. I didn't take my tablet with me because I didn't know what the Wi-Fi situation was. There wasn't any. So I was switching glasses a lot, and also I was kind of tired at the end of the day because I was doing a lot of walking around in rainforest. Did I mention the rainforest? Spectacular. But I did get some done. And I did get 3 of these done with the wrong technique. One of those was a mistake. The other 2 were deliberate. And I'm going to see if I can find, but I'll show you how they came out. You are pecking my knees. I'm aware of you, my darling. It is not time for dinner just yet. Don't you start. So I've got Millie and I've got Tilly, and they both feel that if they peck my knees hard enough, I will dispense food. Anyway, so this is how the triangles are looking. They're working really, really well. They're just as I hoped they would look. The colour shifts and everything are just as I was hoping that they would be. So they all look, well, much the same, but I'll show you another one. And then I'll talk about why I'm using the wrong technique on purpose. So I have 4 of these. I need, well, that depends on how much yarn I've got. If I can get 25, that will make a shawl. If I can get 36, it will make an amazing shawl. But I'm aiming for 25. So basically there, if you round up to the nearest 25. Now let me find, okay, that's a wrong technique. So that's one I want to show you, which means one of these must be the correct technique. And I think it might be that one, but I'm just going to double check. Because why would I double check before I started recording? That would be nonsense. Is that the wrong technique, that one? No, that might be the right one. It's hard to tell. Anyway, I'm going to assume that this other one is the right technique, and I will talk about it. So, I should have brought the loom out with me. I'm not actually sure where it is because I was unpacking and everything got a bit untidy. So when you have your triangle loom, you take your yarn across it and then you go over 2 pegs at the far end to get started. And that's what you do. And that gives you a gappy sort of top. So this one is a wrong technique one. And I can tell it's a wrong technique one because I've got a little, oh, the lighting is not great anymore, a little double loop just there because I've done a weird thing with it. And this one is the correct technique and it's quite gappy at the top. So I did the wrong technique where I went across and then around 1 peg and didn't realise that I'd done it until I got to the middle bit and realised that I had run out of pegs at the top but still had 2 at the bottom. And I thought, well, what have I done there? Well, I'll just finish it off. I'll just bodge it together best I can. And then I did this one, which is the right technique. And I didn't love how loose this top part is. So this is a little bit closer. You can maybe see. Maybe I know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't. This one is quite loose. You can see that that's quite gappy there because there is a bigger gap between the top 2 strands. And I looked at this one when I pulled it off the loom and I thought, I don't actually love that. I like it a little bit closer. But what that does mean is that you need to do a double loop on your middle peg in order to get a strand that goes down the middle. Did that make sense? What I might do is actually bring the loom out next time and explain what I mean, or maybe record what I'm doing. I'm probably not going to remember to do that. But basically, I've done 3 with the wrong technique, 1 with the right technique. I don't love the way that the right technique sits. I think it's too gappy at the top, which would probably work. That's the one with the right technique. Too gappy at the top. It would work. It would still work, but I just like it a little bit closer together. Now, there was something else really witty and interesting I was going to say about this, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, the set. So I was a bit worried that the set was going to be too wide, and all that means is that the gaps between the yarn were going to be too big because the yarn is a little bit too thin for the loom. So on the loom, when it's stretched, it does look... That's not showing up. The light is just really against me today. Don't you mizzle off, chookers. So it looks quite thin on the loom. And then when you pop it off the loom, it fills in beautifully. And that's going to bloom as well. So when I give that a wet finish, when it's all joined together and I give it a wet finish, it'll all bloom and all those gaps will fill in and it will be lovely. So it is working. These do not take long to make unless you are watching Heartbreak High, which was on television a lot and was terrible in the 90s and remains terrible, and yet I could not look away. So I've got a few of these to make, and then once I've got the next 21, we will join them together. I say we, it's going to be me. I will join them together, and then we will have a shawl. So it's coming along. It's not going to be as quick as it could be. It could be quite quick, because as I said, these do not take long to make. But that is all I have for you this week, so thank you very much for watching. I feel like the wheels fell off slightly towards the end, but I think we soldiered on. You take care of yourself, have a lovely rest of your week, and bye for now. I'm going to go and feed the chickens before they take my knees.